and fans. Sorry. G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Dave Talks Off. I mean, really, do I really need to explain? I think I do, actually. Why are so many young men avoiding modern relationships? It seems to be confusing the young ladies. They are starting to wonder if it's actually them. Oh no. It's like crazy, right? But not every uh, woman is now looking in the mirror and wondering what's wrong with them. No, they're doubling down, tripling down on toxic behavior. None more than your awful, your affluent, white, female, urban liberal who seems to do not care and there you go. You wonder why nobody likes you. Why?
You ain't first, you're last.
Yeah. Nobody cares about you, lady. This is what we think when you start talking.
Shut up!
They don't get it. We're happy without you. We don't care about you anymore. And now you're coping. You're worried about white people going. The people who worry about white people and Western civilization should have cared 20 years ago. Should have cared when it mattered, not when it's too late. So many people are stupid. They only wait until it hurts them. And then the people who are hurt the most lash out. Why?
Emotional damage.
Exactly. They're toxic. They have to hurt others to feel better about themselves. They treat everything like a zero-sum game. All right? Now, here's the predominant reason why most, and it's not just white men, okay? China, China, right? The Chinese are below replacement rate. Koreans, Italians, most of the world is below replacement rate. And India is now joining those ranks. Soon, more African nations are expected to see population declines that may be irreversible in South Africa within a decade because their life expectancy is now visibly dropping. So all these women are complaining, I'm white supremacist, I don't care if white people go extinct, humanity will live on. No, it won't, because your toxic behavior spreads like cancer. And even if and most AI or YouTube or what do you call it? They used to be called search engines, but more and more they're AIs, right? Most young men are turning to search engines and AIs for answers for the primary drivers of dating avoidance, right? Fear of social and legal risks risk aversion may have started mgtow, right? Women calling men creepy just because men have a preference, or if men make the first move and you're on the 6 foot, or you earn under six figures, or you don't measure up in the penis department, or you just don't satisfy her period because you do not put up with her shit. And women put in low effort into relationships. They're emotionally distant until they're and constantly changing their standards and desires. And sometimes what they expect of a white man, they'll jump on the bones of a black criminal simply for social credit, and then blame you for not being there for them. Is anybody surprised? Of course not. Right? Why? Because the majority of women.
You like eating red carpet, tough guy?
Yes!
Say you like eating red carpet!
I like eating red carpet!
Giggity.
It's all they want from a relationship. Eat their carpet or eat their shit. Right? They don't want you to have a satisfying relationship. And the moment you say,
Shut up!
you have to walk away. Because,
Emotional, damn it.
yep, you burst their bubble, they will take it out on you for the rest of your life. And remember, with women,
You ain't first, you're last.
but most men,
Right turn, Clyde.
and it's ever increasing mental illness. Latinos, blacks, whites, Asians, it doesn't matter anymore, right? Once upon a time, the passport bro was king. Increasingly, you are finding that the toxicity is spreading. 56% of young white liberal women have a mental disorder, according to Pew Research. How surprised are you? Many are not surprised. No country can be ruled by people who hate it, okay? Whether that's Ilhan Omar, AOC, mushed-up lips, mushed-up lips, mushed-up lips, or mushed-up lips, all of them, right? They hate you for being white and successful, right? They hate your skin because it is beautiful. They hate your success because it's not them, right? Not at all. Not at all surprised. Straitjackets and nut houses. Exactly. People used to want this, but liberals, they just cannot stand anybody happier than them, and they have to make everybody else miserable to feel happy. Yes, 25% of women are on medication. That's scary because the other 75% are going untreated. Feminism is a mental disease. Avoid. Exactly. That's what men are doing. Oh yeah, septum ring theory confirmed, right? Men, you don't have to wait. Once you see the ring on the nose, that's it. You know they're led around by the nose. And anybody you get, you get, right? Right? Now, weak men created hard times. And the only way to fix it is become hard men. Now, I'm not telling you beyond advice. I'm giving you advice, and it's up to you how to respond to it. But I am just warning you that it is a cancer that is spreading, right? 4B is becoming more and more radical, even though their numbers are dropping. The drop rate of feminism is very slow. Now, the most dating issues started 20 to 40 years ago with financial risk, right? Women increasingly were finding ways to force men to marry them, right? To take care of them and then they would loot you within a decade, right? Divorce rate went from 25 to 56 and then started to plateau out because less men get, as the number of men who married declined, the number of divorces declined. And women who were married decided that, geez, if they can't swing the jungle vine, they will stay married. But now, right, with more and more government incentives in Europe, they're divorcing, ever increasing again. And of course, you start to see what's the biggest cause of divorce is government. But of course, more and more men just say it's marriage or women. And it's exactly letting yourself be a victim. It is a ever increasingly, the grass is always greener syndrome, right? As soon as women see someone else happier than them, they want that lifestyle, right? If they get a dress, right? And as soon as they see someone ugly in it, they don't like that dress anymore. That's why you don't see normal women advertised in pretty clothes. You always see the prettier the clothes, the prettier the woman. It's a mental syndrome. All right, this is why plain black dresses are so common, because it's hard to hate. It's hard to hate, and it doesn't have any mental. It's like if it's fancy, it's got elevated status, whereas the black dress has elevated status because it has those status. It's so common. Right? It's like once upon a time, the white shirt and black pants was so common. It lost social status and suddenly became a social status for not having any. It is such a mind-twisting pretzel logic of women that you can't help but wonder, did daddy ever spank them? No, that's the problem. A lot of these women need a good old hard... good old hard spank. But most women are obsessed, and increasingly so, with their buttocks, with their breast size, and they're increasingly turning to each other for emotional support. But of course, every time it is statistically, right, the women who want that satisfaction that just cannot be achieved. It's called first time syndrome, where you chase the first feelings you had over and over again, like first date, so they cheat, first meal, so they serial date, first time, one time. And then it's first intercourse, then it is first exotic location, or first unusual entry point, and it just goes on, right? They increasingly chase firsts. You see this in politics, in sport, where the first trans, gay, black, lesbian, Muslim on a Tuesday to get elected to Congress in the state of Nevermind. And most people agree that, of course, the biggest cause of divorce is women, right? Mental issues. And if you ain't first, you're last, right? And increasingly they want you to eat carpet. They want you to put up with their garbage. And eventually all falls flat. You cannot throw the Khyber into the pass and expect to fill the pass. That's a video I need. It's a very good video I need. I think Khyber Pass. It's exactly what it is. Yeah. Throw the old, even a Ferrari, in a truck park looks small, right? But, this is the problem where women are increasingly obsessed with artificial and superficial, and increasingly the number of people out there. Now, if you want to chat, let me know, because if you don't want to chat, I'll go for a few more minutes. I don't have. Well, just go back and look at the answers to this one. Like liberalism, feminism, they're all equally. Feminism and liberalism are increasingly morphing into a toxic individualist personality cult, where you have obsessions with losing your individual identity, but at the same time you take on someone else's identity, whether it's the septum ring, the colored hair, the various appropriations of different cultures, the tattoos, and again, it's about becoming a leader in a group with a group identity, and simply because they want to influence and get the satisfaction of influencing more than one person. Women increasingly want power, and privilege. And many people realize, and this is why most men don't want to date women, is that they're brainwashed, that they're selfish, that they're mentally unstable. And a lot of it ain't, as you know, a lot of these people who are calling women unstable and mentally ill are other women, right? Though they increasingly taking it out on white women, right? And others. And yeah, I think once people enough noticing occurs, the noticing will continue until morale improves. Once more people realize that the people pushing diversity have their own country and just want to ruin and leech off the ruins of other countries and take all their technology and all their achievements for themselves, right? And they use greedy, selfish, narcissist, unstable people to do it. And they figured out how to spread their mental illness. But eventually will come for them, right? Zero fucks to give, right? Increasingly deliver from liberal women. Go be anti-white in a non-white country. You'll soon, yeah. You are awful, right? White women are affluent, white, female, urban liberals, increasingly obese, mentally ill, obsessed with horse cock, obsessed with overeating, right? Increasingly obsessed with hatred. They want to protect all these cultural groups who have no regard for you or your feelings, other than you're a useful idiot to them. And it is all part of a plan. And people have increasingly noticed the plan, right? You've heard forced technology transfers, all these things. Men increasingly don't want to achieve or build anything beyond their own sphere. Which, whether you're a male author or a male, gamer or anything, right? You have to compete against a ever increasing toxic corporate environment that pushes you down, artificial algorithmic suppression for just being a male, right? It's a real phenomenon, and social media companies have denied this, but increasingly more and more men are saying, no, we recognize that you're that you have a bias, and that that more and more people notice that you have a bias, and eventually, right? What's this? Oh, people are saying,
screw your feminism.
Now, I don't want to go into detail about previous videos, but yeah, check out some of the previous videos, come to our conclusions. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Have I missed something? Because there's a lot of researchers out there who actually look into this stuff. I made some notes, but most of the notes are way off the mark, I think, right? Though men do feel invisible, but the excuse isn't because this is a winner-take-all game. This is a highly competitive environment where not created by the oversupply of men. It's the hypergamy of women. It's women's greed, right? The 80% of women chase 20% of the men. That was in 1990. By the 2000s, you had 90% of women chasing 10% of the men. I think now, in the 2020s onwards, you have 99% of women chasing the 1%. And yet, when you look at liberal politics, how they say, oh, we're going to stand up to the millionaires and billionaires, You're voting for socialism, yet at the same time, you want to marry a billionaire, and take their money. And then you talk about your social causes and how that women are going to inherit the earth. And yeah, but what are you going to do then, right? You're going to run around fingering each other. You're going to run around with all your sex toys. You're going to run around with your cats and your dogs, or you're just going to be beheaded by the endless horde of cretins. These women, they'll tell you how they feel sorry for the black man and that we make all this stuff up. But as soon as they go to Africa and experience a bad behavior, most of them don't come back. That's the problem. There ain't enough survivors telling their story about the reality of this world. And that is beyond the Western world, there is an increasingly uncivilized cult, right? They look safe on the surface. Their countries report to be safe on the surface. But they're just waiting for the opportunity, Most of them, Dubai, the darkness of Dubai, you can look that up. I mean, men just don't care because there's no incentive, right? These women want to send you to war. They want you to die for Ukraine. They want you to die for the black man. They want you to die for the Asian. They want you to submit to the Latino. They want you to submit to everything, right? But they don't care. Even if you do, they don't care about you. So why I don't think any other reason matters. It really doesn't. I don't think there's any other reason that matters other than the fact that there is no incentive and there's no property protection. There's no laws of provocation that allows you to defend yourself against their hatred. They can abuse you financially, physically, mentally, and get away with it because the government is obsessed with votes and money. And increasingly, they're obsessed with the constant flow of money so they can keep skimming money. And eventually, the coin clippers are going to up and leave with you nothing but empty paper because there's nothing left to clip. All right. Since there's no chat, yeah. All right. Since there's no chat, let me know in the comments below, and definitely thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Even if I know on X you can't chat, it's increasingly come over to Rumble, or I'll really. So take care, like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel and support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And then all my links are in the link tree description below or in my profile. or you can scan the QR code on the screen. But I do. I appreciate your time. I understand the ever-increasing competition for your attention. So see you, and bye, and thank you.